what brings you here today? Tell us about why Atlanta.
Yeah, so we're on our annual bus trip. We do this every year with Jamie and his senior team, where we go around to a region of the country. This year we're obviously in the South, and Atlanta is sort of the capital of the Deep South. I mean, it is in many ways, both economically and culturally. It's a place we've served for over 100 years. It's a place we have deep relationships, but it's also a place we see a lot of opportunity for growth. So we're here to learn about what's going on the ground. We'll meet with clients, we'll meet with staff, we'll get feedback, we'll hear about what we're doing well, we'll hear about what we're not doing so well, and we'll get more texture for what's going on in every market around the country.
When you look at the economic landscape and the small business development landscape in Metro Atlanta, what do you see?
Well, I see growth. I mean, I certainly see growth. Let me take a step back for a second and talk about where we are across the country and then what that means, particularly in Georgia. So across the country, it was pretty clear after the election we had a spike in sentiment that obviously came off a bit when we had the tariffs and the uncertainty around the tax bill. It looks like most of that is behind us now. We saw in our latest survey in July that sentiment is back up to January highs, and that's great. Now, are there pockets where it's doing better and worse? Sure. Are there parts of the country that are doing better and worse? Of course there are. And Georgia and other places that are business friendly, we definitely see disproportionate growth. We have 175,000 small business clients here in Georgia alone, and that's up double digits in the last few years.
That's really interesting because we still don't know the long-term impacts to the tariffs. So is there still some wait and see in terms of projections? Because we're talking about how people are feeling. But in terms of long-term impact, is there still a question mark there, or do you feel pretty confident about the trajectory?
There's definitely still somewhat of a question mark, and there's a new, something in the news every day about where it's going. But I think people finally have enough confidence to start to invest. We do see people coming off the sidelines a bit, slower than it could be if we had absolute certainty. But there's no question that people have finally gotten to the point where they see demand holding up, they see opportunity, and they are willing to invest more than they were certainly, 3 or 4 months ago.
Let's talk about Metro Atlanta, or this part of the country kind of more specifically. You mentioned the growth. Can you talk more about what you see as maybe the biggest benefits of our business environment here?
Well, look, policy matters. And business friendliness matters. So if you look at, there's a few states I could point to. Georgia is certainly one of them, but Texas and Florida and other places that have opened up their community to business. They've made clear that they are here for business, that not that they're not going to have rules of the road, but they're going to have sensible rules of the road. And they have good, strong workforce. There's a great, strong workforce here in Atlanta. Obviously, a number of universities across the area. So there's a rich pool of talent here. And when you have that combination of really good policy, friendly business climate, and a strong workforce, that's where companies want to go. That's where we want to be. We established a technology center here in Atlanta. Why? Because there was talent here.
Yeah, I think that's we hear that a lot from Governor Kemp talks a lot about wanting to make sure you're bringing, whether it's Rivian or the film industry, just bringing business to Georgia, and then maybe the growth that comes because of that.
Yeah, look, people want dignity in jobs and opportunities. That's what people like. And so the states that are doing that well are seeing disproportionate benefits from it. We're happy to be here and support that. I mean, we're in all 48 states, so we support, no matter where you are in the country, we want to be there for you. But there's no question that there are winners and losers at the moment, and those who have made their general climate and infrastructure friendly to business are doing better. But with that growth comes problems. I mean, we used to have a joke when I would come to Atlanta, I'm sorry I missed the meeting, I was turning left. There certainly are challenges that come with that growth, and it is on both policymakers and business leaders to solve those challenges if you want to keep the train going.
Yeah, traffic always being the very top of that list. What would you see as the greatest challenges to overcome here in Atlanta?
Here in Atlanta, I wouldn't say that I know specifically what your political challenges are, but certainly transportation and power are going to be ongoing challenges. If you want more data centers, you're going to have to build more power. If you want a vibrant workforce, they have to be able to move around well. Building housing is still a challenge, both everywhere around the country. It's not like house prices are down here either, right? So making it building friendly. And I tell people all the time, everybody wants to talk about interest rates. By historical standards, interest rates are actually not that high. Housing is a market, and we have a supply problem, and we need to build more houses. So if you want people to keep moving to Atlanta, you're going to have to, keep building those houses because people want somewhere to live.
My parents love to tell me about 13%.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think final question for me might be a bigger scope, and we talked a little bit about tariffs. I think the other question is just sort of this calibration of federal dollars versus state dollars, and more of the onus in many areas going to the states to carry. With the changing landscape of federal dollars, is it more and more important for the business sector, the private sector, to step in, support small businesses, to support different factions of growth?
I think it kind of doesn't matter, to be honest with you, because federal funding, we might have a different administration in 3.5 years that does something different, we might not. Just like I tell my small business clients, plan for a good environment and plan for a poor environment. I would tell the states, plan for some largesse from the federal government and plan for some stinginess from the federal government, because there's clearly dysfunction in Washington. So even if the next president wants to do something different, that might not be possible, might be very possible. So states need to plan as if they're going to have to manage their own economies. I'm optimistic about the country overall. I think we will solve enough of our dysfunction to get through, but there will be ups and downs no matter who's in charge in the White House and no matter who's in Congress, because we are, the country's divided politically. So my message to state and local leaders is to, chart your own course and be ready for any outcome.
Yeah, that's a good way not to ride like an emotional roller coaster based on your point of view politically, just to look kind of more objectively at the economic landscape.
And we do see at the local level, people are not wrapped up in all this stuff and what's going on in DC. They're just getting on and trying to grow their businesses. They're building amenities and schools and parks for their citizens. We generally see that across the country. Georgia's no exception, right? When you're here, you're worried about growing the economy here. And I think you should be.
Final thoughts for maybe a message to people watching this in terms of how optimistic they should feel about the landscape of the city here?
It's a great growth story here, and I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I would say, urge your civic and business leaders to deal with the challenges that will come from your success. And if you do that, things will keep right on going.
Is there anything I haven't asked that you want to mention? Even about the event today, or
well, our event. What I would say is, it's always great. Jamie's can always fill a room, and he's great to listen to. I would say, what I want to focus on is what we do when we come to a community like Atlanta is not just about JPMorgan Chase and making money. Yes, we are a commercial enterprise. We have shareholders. We want to do that. But we believe when we invest in a community broadly, so think about, we have 110 branches here, we have 175,000 small business customers, we have a commercial bank, we have a private bank, we have all the things that go with, we have credit cards, we have all the things that go with that, mortgages. And we invest in that community, not just in the commercial way, but in supportive ways. So we have community managers, we have senior business consultants. We've graduated over 300 businesses here in Atlanta from a free consulting program that allow them to improve their businesses. And we do that at no charge, and we do it because it helps grow the economy. And we believe if we help grow the local economy, we're going to do just fine. And so we'd rather be part of a growing pie than just be sniping at at the competition. That's not how we want to do business. We want to compete to win, but we want to compete to win by supporting communities and helping them grow.
Well, we really appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That's great.